Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living and Mayhem Preparedness. Been a day. It has been very busy. I hope you guys have had a fantastic Christmas holiday and we are going into the new year. I have been trying to kind of stay away and give everybody their space to do their family things as well as for us to do our family things, and it has been nice. In and amongst all of that, we have had to deal with house issues. Old house. This house is 60 years old, good bones. And we've been having to deal with a little bit of plumbing. I'll spin you around and I'll show you what we are going to do. Optimistically, we're going to replace all the black pipe. And then we're going to convert this into a two-system house. We're going to have gray water system, which we already actually do have gray water system, and we're zoned for that, so it's okay. And then we're going to do our septic, and then we're going to do a gray water system. We're going to do some reed and some brackish plants to help with the reclamation of the gray water, which is nothing but soap. So worst comes to worst, if you put it out in your yard, it would be a fantastic fertilizer. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really cool. And it's going to give me a chance to do at the very end, as we come out to clean water, I'm going to do a whole bunch of watercress, which is something I've always wanted to grow. And so we'll get some wild watercress. At the old property, we had, two creeks on the property, so you could do that kind of anywhere you wanted to. But we've had to become creative here, and it's all good. It is all good. But I hope you guys, again, have had a fantastic Christmas holiday and are taking a break from your regular work. If you could. I could not. I took time off, but then I ended up working in addition to taking time off. It's just the way it is. And I wanted to talk to you about some of the stuff that's going on politically. Now, I will talk about it in generality because I try not to do a lot of political stuff here on this channel on Mayhem Country Living. Now, I'll bounce this off of Mayhem Preparedness as well, more than likely. And guys, if you haven't gotten over there to subscribe to it, Mayhem Preparedness, it is a little bit more intense in our videos. It is what we do. If also you are of the mind to join us on Patreon, you get a lot of extra bonuses and everything. You could consider joining Mayhem's Rebels. And you can take a look at us over on Patreon, Mayhem Country Living, and then click on and you will become a member of the Mayhem Rebels, and you get a bunch of good junk. When I was a young boy, when I was a kid, I'm going to say I was between 6. My dad is my stepfather, and he and my mom married when I was 6. So I'm going to say when I was between 6 and 8 years old, we were out swimming. We were in central Alabama, Childersburg, Alabama, to be specific. And it is a very rural, very poor area that is supplied by the plants and the companies that are working around it. So these are, company cities, towns, stuff like that. And it was summer, and we went out to where we'd always been going for years. Cedar Creek was the name of that little place, and it's right off of the Coosa River. And so we were out there, and I'm going to say I was between 6 and 8, probably closer to 8. My dad and I walked out there wearing my little swimsuit, and we walked out there, and Mom was coming along down, bringing something down to the beach area, and we didn't have my sisters yet, so it was just the three of us, and Dad and I were talking and everything, talking about swimming, learning to swim. And we walked to the end of the pier, and he says, "This is a good place." And I said, "Yeah, yes, sir." And he said, "This would be a good place to start learning how to swim." And I was kind of nervous. I didn't know how to swim. And he said, "Well," he said, we come swimming out here all the time." He says, "I know it's pretty deep right here. There's no rocks or anything like that." And so he pushed me in the water. And it's about 6 feet deep, and I was about 3 feet tall. So it was an event. You know, you can push off the bottom if you remember how to do that. And so I started spitting and sputtering, dog paddling and everything. And he was looking at me, and he says, you know, paddle with your hands, paddle with your feet, make it to the, come over towards the shore. And I did. And I did. And that was the very first time I swam by myself without any kind of aid or anything. And I know people are going to say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you would do that to a child." And I would never do that to mine. I do it to my kids all day long. Push them in the water, let them learn. Stand over them in case something happens to them, and that way you can pull them out and train them and show them. And then we got out of the water, and I was coughing and spitting and everything, and we sat down on the, it wasn't a beach, it was kind of like a rock bar to keep the barges from eroding the shallow area. And he sat down and he talked to me about it, and he says, "It wasn't real deep. We knew it wasn't real deep because we come out here every week. And so you were fine when I pushed you in." He says, "You made it up." He said, "If something had happened, I would have come out and gotten you. I would have walked out and gotten you." And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "I'm going to teach you how to swim, and I'm going to teach you all the stuff that they taught me how to do in the Army." Dad was a drill instructor, Army and National Guard, I want to say. I think that's right. It may be, yeah, something like that, And so all that summer he taught me how to swim, and he taught me how to tread water, and he taught me how to, he taught me how to float. He taught me how to, what was it? He taught me how to do a breaststroke, and he taught me how to do a couple of others. And he said the rest of the stuff you need to go to the library and learn how to do it if you need to do any more. And he says, if you ever get into the water and you're wearing your clothes, he says, you need to remove your clothes and your shoes as much as you can. He said in the Army, he said if we were wearing a pack and a rifle, he said it sure beat drowning, but you would lose your pack and your rifle. And he says, honestly, if you did that, whenever you got up onto the shore, there was always somebody that was dead, and you could take their pack and their rifle. It's a little harsh for a 6-year-old, but that was, in the 70s. And I thought, okay, I'll remember that. And a crawl. He taught me how to crawl swim, which is just, I don't know, kind of like an overhand. And then he taught me how to swim without making noise. He says, because there may be a time whenever you have to swim, you need to be quiet. He said, so you're going to have to learn how to swim quietly. And so over the summer we did that. And then he taught me, in addition to floating, he said, because floating is like taking a nap in the water. You just inflate, float, and breathe and relax, and you can rest if you get a cramp or something like that. You can float, rest, and relax, roll back over and swim more. You can swim for miles and miles that way, even if you're not in good shape. And he says, I want you to swim using one arm and 2 legs. And he showed me how to do that. He says, I want you to swim with no arms. Just tread water with your feet. And he showed me how to do that. And he says, I want you to swim with just both your arms and then swim with one arm. And so the whole summer, he taught me how to swim and do all that weird stuff. And I did the same thing with my kids, even though they'll probably won't not remember it, and they'll probably never use it. And he taught me how to do all that. And this was the stuff he learned from his dad, and then the stuff he learned in the Army, and the stuff he taught to other recruits in the Army. This was just, what he did. And swimming with one arm and one leg, or with just your legs, is pretty much treading water, because it's hard to do it. I have to say, I can akin the stuff that Trump had to do dealing with a Senate and a House that, even though they might have been officially with him, that opposed him, as well as a federal agency that investigated terrorism on our soil, and a federal agency that investigated terrorism on foreign soil. That'd be the CIA and the FBI. Officially helping, but unofficially ruining you at every turn. I'm going to say the reason that Trump was not able to drain the swamp was because that the whole time he was there, he had to tread water. Basically, he was swimming with his feet because his hands were too busy doing other stuff. Or, let's say he was swimming with his hands and his feet were too busy doing other stuff. Either way, people say, well, he had all these great ideas and he went in there and did this. And I think would have really been cool to see what he could have done had he had legitimate support. And I'm not talking about support from people, from me or you. From his peers, people who said they would support him. That's just kind of my thought. And so I akin that to treading water. So why didn't he drain the swamp completely? Well, he was too busy treading water. Maybe I'll make that the title, Treading Water in a Swamp, something like that. That might, I don't know, we'll see. But that just kind of hit me the other day, and I remembered that kind of stuff, the way my dad taught me how to do it, and I thought, kind of sucked for Trump. All right, guys. Anyway, we're getting ready to wrap everything up. If you would, like and subscribe. That will go a long way to helping us. Don't forget to look at the other channel, Mayhem Preparedness. We are also on Patreon, Mayhem Country Living. We are also on Parler, Mayhem Country Living. And go there and show some love. And we're going to keep growing. Almost New Year's. We're going to have to do our New Year's resolutions. Take care of you people.